Likes and dislikes comparison of the 2023 Peugeot 5008 vs Toyota Fortuner 2023 Peugeot 5008 likes. Striking looks. Great to drive. Awesome interior. Dislikes. No reverse cross traffic alert. Curtain airbags don't reach third row. Pricey. Toyota Fortuner. Likes. Safety features. Good size for everyday use. Powerful engine. Dislikes. Retro tech. Lack of child seat options. Third row stowage. Peugeot 5008. Previously on carsguide.com.au, Peter Anderson drove the Peugeot 5008 and quite liked it. I don't think it's going to be a huge shock to learn that the recent update to the 5008 7-seater has improved the car and, therefore, my opinion of the car. Except, it's more than an update. Prices are much higher than when I drove the Crossway Edition 5008 in 2019, remember those happy times, and the difference between the petrol and diesel engines is especially wide now in 2021. The updated 5008 shares a great deal with its 3008 sibling, and the two share a very important attribute: they are distinctively French, in a good way. Toyota Fortuner. The Toyota Fortuner Crusade is a strange beast. It's a four-wheel drive that feels like a Hilux hybrid, but it lacks the fun of its Ute sibling, despite being able to seat 7. The four-wheel drive capabilities, seat configuration, and high ride should be a winning combo, but it sits awkwardly in Toyota's SUV lineup. It's not as family-oriented as the Kluger and not as refined as the Prado. It's like that cousin that you only see once a year and don't know well, you're not quite sure what to do with them. Verdict. Peugeot 5008. The answer is, I think, twofold: price and badge. Peugeot Australia has a job on its hands to turn things around, as 2020 was a tough year and 2021 is shaping up to be almost as hard. There aren't any significant changes to the 5008 to make it suddenly stand out from the crowd, because it already did. So the badge's cachet isn't matching the premium pricing. Peugeot's SUVs are very popular in Europe but barely make a dent here. Because there isn't a bait-and-switch cheaper model to lure buyers off the street, it's a harder sell. Peugeot's glory days of the late 1990s and the late 1970s before mean the people who have fond memories of the badge are older and probably don't have any attachment at all to the French Lion. Perhaps the re-energized 2008 will start that conversation, except it's not cheap either. Having said all that, it's hard to see why folks with over 50 grand to spend on a 7-seater, and there are plenty of those, aren't paying more attention to the 5008. It's a striking presence, is practical but isn't overbearingly large or even slightly clumsy. It may not have AWD, but hardly anyone ever uses that. It'll handle the city and the motorway and, as I discovered, biblical rain all in its stride. Like its 3008 sibling, it's a mystery there aren't more out there. Toyota Fortuner. So, after a week of driving the Toyota Fortuner Crusade, did it have a podium finish for my family? I was hopeful, but no. The driving performance was mixed, and only being able to fit 2 car seats will limit flexibility for younger growing families. I don't like the way the third row is stowed, as it makes the boot a bit awkward to use. Combined with the retro-feeling tech and short servicing intervals, there can be some improvement here, especially in a market that is surging forward with all of those elements. I did enjoy the high driving position, safety features, and the forgiving suspension, though. My son liked the feverish red color and that he didn't need my help to climb in and out of it. Design. Peugeot 5008. The 5008 was always the slightly awkward big brother to the 3008. That's not to say it was, or is, ugly, but the bigger box fitted to the back is far less racy than the 3008's fastback. There's not much change at that end, so the cool claw lights carry the kin for style. In profile, again, it's a little awkward, compared to the 3008, but some nice work with various materials and shapes help to reduce its bulk. The front is where the facelift action has happened. I was never completely convinced by the front end of the 5008, but the reworking of the lights to look less like they were squeezed out of a tube of toothpaste is a marked improvement. The updated lights work beautifully with the new frameless grille. The Fang-style daytime running lights, that debuted on the gorgeous 508, look fantastic here on the 5008. It's a superb job. Inside is largely unchanged, which is to say it's still brilliant. It's really one of the more inventive interiors in any car, anywhere, and is a joy to sit in. The seats look brilliant, even more so in the diesel with their fine stitching and racy shapes. The wacky cockpit driving position works much better in more upright cars like SUVs and is present and correct, while the new 10.0-inch screen also looks good. Even if you are not interested in buying one of these, if you're passing a Peugeot showroom, get in and have a look, feel the materials and wonder why more interiors aren't this cool. Toyota Fortuner. Nothing discernible to me has been changed since the last model, but let me paint the picture for you. Imagine a dual-cab Hilux with a boot and you'll come up with something similar to the Fortuner. It sits proudly at 1,835 mm tall. The sides are almost slab-like and it's squared off at the rear, which the chunky C-pillar and dark windows do nothing to detract from. It's definitely prettier up front with a nicely tapered bonnet. City dwellers need not beware. At 4,795 mm long and 1,855 mm wide, it's accommodating in a tight car park. The interior is classically Toyota. Everything is where you expect to find it, but it's lacking some wow factor. There are a lot of hard plastics throughout that highlight this. With tech, trims and ambience all getting upgraded in the market, the interior is a bit of a letdown. However, there's a certain comfort in seeing a traditional gear shifter, handbrake and manual clock in an off-roader. In my mind, it lends a certain weight to the vehicle's capability. Practicality. Peugeot 5008. Legroom is good in the middle row, with plenty of knee space as well as that long flat roof stopping you from giving yourself a haircut. Each of the front seats has a fold-down airline-style tray table, which kids go absolutely wild for. The third row is really an occasional use-only proposition, but it does the job and is reasonably easy to access. The middle row also slides forward, 60/40 split, to allow a bit more space for the third row, which is nice. The 5008 has a trick up its sleeve: removable third row seats. If you fold the middle row down and remove the back row, you have a massive 2,150 liters, VDA, of cargo volume. If you just fold the third row away, you still have a formidable 2,042 liters. Whip the back row out again but leave the center row in place and you have a 1,060-liter boot. Reattach them and it's a still impressive 952 liters. So, it's a massive boot. The 5008 is rated to tow 1,350 kilograms, petrol, or 1,800 kilograms, diesel, with a braked trailer, or 600 kilograms, petrol, and 750 kilograms, diesel, without brakes. Toyota Fortuner. The interior isn't terribly practical for a 7-seater, so there's room for improvement. And that seems to be the running theme for the Fortuner. First and second row occupants will enjoy the most room, but it's best to think of the third row as sometimes seats. It was easy for my 6-year-old to get in and out with the side steps, and he had a great view from the wide rear window. Individual storage is good with a double glove box, cooled middle console, 2 cup holders and drink bottle holders in the first and second rows, plus an extra 2 retractable cup holders in the dash. Hurrah! Third row occupants miss out on them completely, though. However, I think the storage bins and map pockets are a tad too shallow to be that useful. The boot space is on the smaller side, and the way the third row stows on the side encroaches on the space and creates a large blind spot on an already chunky C-pillar. With all 3 rows in action, there is 200 L of cargo capacity available, but you can stow the third row to get 716 L. If you want maximum cargo capacity, the middle seats can also be folded and that figure jumps up to 1080 L. The tech feels retro and not in a good way. The 8.0-inch touchscreen multimedia system is plain on the graphics and laggy, plus on the smaller side for the market now. It also only has wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's fairly easy to connect. Also, there is only one USB-A port in the whole car and no wireless charging pad. You do have a couple of 12-volt ports and a handy 220-volt plug for when you're camping or something, but that's it for charging, which is surprising for a family SUV nowadays. Price and features. Peugeot 5008. Peugeot's local arm is pitching the 5008 at an interesting point. While nowhere near the largest of 7-seaters, it is also not the cheapest, that honor going to Peugeot's former technical partner for SUVs, Mitsubishi. There is now just one specification level, although it isn't really, the GT, and you can have it in petrol form for deep breath $51,990, or diesel form, keep drawing that long breath, $59,990. That's a lot of cash. But as I say, the spec is not the same between the two. And there is a lot of stuff. The Petrol GT opens with 18-inch wheels, a 12.3-inch digital dashboard, upgraded, apparently, a new 10.0-inch touchscreen, ditto, front and rear parking sensors, around view cameras, leather and Alcantara seats, keyless entry and start, auto parking, adaptive cruise control, powered tailgate, rear window blinds, auto LED headlights, auto wipers, and a space saver spare. The more expensive diesel picks up the diesel engine, obviously, a banging Focal branded 10-speaker stereo, acoustic laminated front side windows and 19-inch alloys. The diesel GT's front seats are also upgraded, with extra adjustability, a massage function, heating, memory function, and electrical operation of just about everything on them. Both versions have the new 10.0-inch multimedia touchscreen. The older screen was slow and really needed a good stab to work, which is a bit of a problem when so many functions are packed into the system. The new one is better, but still a touch laggy. Weirdly, the climate control shortcuts permanently frame the screen, so the extra real estate goes on those controls. The diesel GT seats are available as an option on the Petrol as part of a $3,590 option pack. The pack also adds the Napple leather, which itself is a separate option for $2,590 on that upper spec model. Neither pack is cheap, but the Napple leather is lovely, and the massage seats are more than a novelty. Other option costs are $1,990 for a sunroof and $2,590 for Napple leather, diesel only. Just one paint color, Sunset Copper, is free. The rest are extra. For $690 you can choose Celebs Blue, Nera Black, Artense Gray, or Platinum Gray. Ultimate Red and Pearl White cost $1,050. Toyota Fortuner. There are 3 models for the Fortuner and the Crusade sits at the top. As with everything, there's been a minor price hike since the last model, but you can pick this up for $62,945, before on-road costs. There are some nice standard features, like electric heated front leather seats, a powered tailgate, 3-zone climate control, wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth connectivity, 7 seats, 2/3/2 config, 18-inch alloy wheels and side steps. Our model is fitted with an optional tow bar kit, which adds a tow bar, tow ball, and trailer wiring for an extra $1,350. It's a little annoying that each item has to be individually purchased, so make sure if the model you're looking at has a tow ball, that the wiring is connected, too. Compared to the market, you get a decent array of accessories and features for the price tag.